Do you choose romantic partners and relationships because you truly feel worthy of love exactly as you are? Or do you choose them because you feel needed or useful, or you feel you can save them with your love, or even know that because they need you, you can ensure that they won't abandon you? At the core of those kinds of choices lie a deep belief that you don't believe you're worthy of love just as you are. And this lack of self-worth is ruining your chance at feeling happy and content and fulfilled in life and your relationships. Today, I'm going to show you a diagram and tool that will unlock your self-worth and show you how to build it in your body from the ground up. You don't need to say self-affirmations or rewire your cognitive beliefs about yourself. You actually need a tool to embody a version of yourself that's experiencing a felt sense of self-trust and self-worth that is clearly reflected as a mirror in the world around you. Like Kate, who spent years twisting herself into a human pretzel, trying to be whatever her emotionally unavailable husband needed. She'd been in therapy for years but felt stuck. When she started this work, she finally learned how to connect to her body, not just her thoughts, and the change was massive. Now she says, I feel the most peace I've felt in such a long time. I've let go of the resentment. I no longer carry the guilt, and everything is calm and peaceful. I feel like I've got myself back and my kids too. Self-worth is the felt sense that you're valuable and deserving simply because you exist. You are exactly as you are now, not because of what you do or achieve or accomplish or how others respond to you. Self-worth in romantic relationships are interesting because if you grew up with emotionally unavailable or misattuned parents, or your family environment was unhealthy or downright toxic, and you didn't receive the attunement you needed to feel validated, seen, heard, understood, and loved exactly as you were as a child, you learned maladaptive behaviors to get that love. And if there was any need to get love by caretaking, fixing, performing, or in any way altering yourself, your behavior, your self-worth was, as a child, directly affected. You interpreted the lack of love around you as something to do with you, rather than seeing and attributing the issues to the caregivers whose roles it was to take care of you, to attune to you. And they were actually the ones letting you down. So you self-abandoned and pretzeled yourself to get love successfully, and it kept you from really feeling safe and loved as a child. But today you might even defend your parents, right? And remember, we're not placing blame here. We're just stating a fact. And we're also bringing compassion to the fact that they themselves likely suffer from generational trauma and had parents who did the same thing to them. But the pretzeling that you did meant that your self-worth took a massive hit when it comes to how you see and view yourself in relationships. So someone with secure relating and healthy self-worth will see themselves as worthy just as they are and be attracted to others that are a fit and compatible with them. If they meet someone who has chronic issues like emotional unavailability, unhealthy patterns of behavior like anger or dishonesty or manipulation, that's going to be an instant turnoff for them. But if you had to pretzel yourself as a child in order to be loved, you learned that love was about fixing or saving or somehow creating a contact with someone who needs you so they won't abandon you. And a person with unhealthy patterns and behaviors fits this bill perfectly. Their emotional unavailability or unpredictable Jekyll and Hyde personality creates a feeling of familiarity inside you, a type of safety in your body, because your nervous system is able to mimic your childhood relationships, and that's all you know to be love. So your self-worth is actually acting as a filter in picking your potential partner. I like this guy because I'm feeling needed. I feel useful. He has to stay with me because he needs me. I can ensure that I won't be abandoned because at the core of it, I don't believe I'm worthy of love just as I am. Right? So this is how low self-worth is such an unconscious filter, and it is the reason you stay in unhealthy relationships. And we're going to look at this deeply today so that you can start to turn around this pattern. Okay, so firstly, self-worth is made up of 4 components. So the first one is self-esteem. This is really how you think about yourself, right? What's going on cognitively, your evaluation of your abilities, your qualities, and achievements. It's the cognitive aspect of how you see yourself, your layers of worthiness, the beliefs you have about yourself. Then there's self-love. So this is the way that you emotionally engage with yourself. So how you offer kindness or compassion to yourself, particularly when you're struggling. The next one is self-respect. Now, this is how you act on behalf of yourself. So the kind of the behaviors that you put out to the world. whether they're boundaries, actions, honoring your values, and just not tolerating mistreatment. This is the way, you engage externally in the world based on your self-worth, your behavioral expression of your worth. And the last one is your self-trust. This is how you relate to your body's signals. This is a really interesting one. So this is the kind of felt sense that you can rely on yourself to make choices, handle emotions, and follow through, that your heart and your mind are in alignment. You know yourself and you can act in alignment in that way. So let's compare the romantic choices of someone with healthy self-worth as opposed to someone who doesn't have healthy self-worth. So in terms of self-esteem, if you have healthy self-worth, you feel deserving of mutual love and respect. You're naturally drawn to partners who also value you, and you're not impressed by subtle surface charm or potential. You're attracted to the depth of emotional maturity and consistency and integrity, and people that can meet you emotionally, right? As opposed to a lack of self-worth where you feel not enough, and because of that, you unconsciously seek partners who reinforce that story, right? They're emotionally unavailable, or they're critical. They're people who mirror your inner doubts about yourself, and you confuse being chosen with being worthy, so you chase attention as proof of your own value. Now, in terms of self-respect, someone with healthy self-respect, you choose a partner who respects your boundaries and shares your values, right? If they disregard you, you disengage early on instead of trying to convince them to care about you. Your dating standards filter out partners who thrive on power imbalances or the safety of emotional unavailability. I just want you to read that again. You're filtering out people who thrive on power imbalances and the safety of emotional unavailability, where they don't have to show up or be, connected to you. As opposed to someone who lacks self-worth, self-respect, you're drawn to partners who need fixing or who test your boundaries because you're used to proving your worth through rescuing or sticking the relationship out. And you mistake service and tolerance for love, and you stay in dynamics where you're giving far more than you're receiving, right? So you're just in this kind of mode of serving and just kind of sticking it out. But you're stuck in this dynamic and you will be depleted in a situation like this. Let's look at your self-love. So in terms of the healthy aspect, it's because you already feel loved and secure within yourself. You're not outsourcing that. You're not drawn to partners who offer that love bombing of emotional highs and then the low that comes with it. You're actually attracted to steadiness and empathy and emotional reciprocity, right? You don't need drama to feel alive or wanted, as opposed to someone who lacks self-worth and self-love. Because you don't know how to emotionally comfort yourself, you're attracted to partners who temporarily fill that void. You confuse intensity with intimacy, and you choose people who spark that emotional high that distracts you from inner emptiness. I hear this a lot when I speak with women in my community, that they just not interested, or healthy people seem boring to them, and what they're actually attuning to is this kind of spark within them. That spark, if you look at it on a biological level, it's the thrill of actually getting some kind of love and connection from a parent who was just emotionally unavailable themselves, right, and inconsistent. So this really has a direct impact on your self-love in this sense. And self-trust, someone with healthy self-worth and self-trust, you trust your instincts and internal signals when something feels off, and you don't override your intuition or gaslight yourself, right? You leave the relationship when it isn't aligned rather than clinging to potential. Your choices are grounded in calm discernment, not fear of loss. As opposed to a lack of self-worth where you doubt your intuition and you gravitate towards confusing or inconsistent partners and you replay your uncertainty. You're actually somewhat wired to be addicted to that uncertainty because that's what you knew as a child. That was what love was for you. And you ignore red flags because you fear being wrong or alone. You stay attached to the relationship that drains your energy and your self-belief. Okay, so how do we start to turn this around? How do we rewire ourselves to have healthy self-worth? So most people are going to tell you to change the way you think about yourself, to rewire this, right? Change your beliefs, rewire your cognitive perception of yourself in some way, or just to love yourself more, right? Or to set better boundaries, right? In the way that you externally engage with the world. But you and I know that we can tell ourselves to do this and we can think about it, but nothing actually changes in your life, right? Until you embody your sense of self-worth. And this looks like actually the self-trust piece, where you're listening to your body rather than just being cut off from the neck up and thinking about it all, like making it a cognitive issue. You're actually listening to your body, listening to your signals, and acting on that. And this is turning around your sense of self-trust. So in my opinion, this is what I see in my clients. Self-trust is the key to turning around your self-worth. So self-trust is a process that comes from listening to and acting on intuitive signals in the body. And if you've only ever had unhealthy relationships and you're in that pattern, like I said, you're living from the neck up. You're ignoring your intuition it's telling you what's right for you, right? You've been pushing all of that intuition and all those signals down for so long that you're literally cut off from yourself and your body. You don't trust yourself to act in your own best interest because you haven't time and time again. You've shown that. So what's holding you back from ultimately acting in your own best interest? Everything else that you push down and ignore, your core wounds that run your lack of self-worth, that cause you to pretzel to get love in the first place, they actually live in your body as stored emotional trauma that needs to be healed from that place. Now, the hardest aspect of establishing self-trust after a lifetime of self-abandonment is knowing what signals are your trauma and what signals are your truth. So here's the exact tool you need to start listening to the correct signals from your body so that you can start establishing self-trust inside your body today. Now, if you've spent some time on my channel, you've seen me use this diagram before. I use it in so many ways. This is a scale of how emotions vibrate in our body. The numbers on the left directly relate to this. And the higher the number, the more expansive and open you're going to feel in your body, right? This is relating to your body. And the lower the number, the more contracted you will feel in your body as well. So this is where trauma lives, right? When we feel these things. And this is where your truth lives, your true sense of expression. Now, there is a caveat to this, and I talk about anger, healthy expressions of anger being really important. And I do believe that anger can allow us to feel expansive in the body if it's a healthy type and healthy expression of anger. But I believe that it resonates in this particular way because it is something that is expressed through the body that needs kind of movement. So at the start of it, when you're feeling anger, you will feel a lot of contraction, right? Your fist will kind of go into a ball and you're going to want to punch someone, whatever that looks like. But you will then very soon after that feel acceptance, probably neutrality. There will be this kind of emotion that comes with it. So that's really the only caveat to this. Now, the other interesting thing about this diagram is that when you've gaslit and pretzeled yourself to get love here, you've actually trained your body and mind to interpret fear as love. So this is a big statement to say, but if you really resonate with the messages on my channel, I'm going to hesitate to say that you've never really felt this. You've actually felt this and interpreted it as love. You've put a label on it, but what you're experiencing love to be is actually a contracted trauma response, and your body is in some kind of fear. And this is because out of fear, you were trying to get your connection needs met, right? That wasn't true love, the type that makes you feel expansive in your body. And it actually allows you to feel quite sort of detached in a way. Like it has this very interesting quality where you're just happy to love someone and you don't need anything from them. This is what this kind of love feels like. So you might find that your signals are going to get a little bit confused for a time. And the best way is to start actually listening to what is your trauma and your truth, like what feels contracted and what feels expanded, by identifying really small kind of signals as a yes and a no signal. So this will be a no signal. This will be a yes signal in the body. So let's start off with two basic things. Say you're going to ask yourself, do you prefer the yellow book or the blue book? What feels expansive in your body and what feels contractive? Remember, what you think feels right in your body may actually come from a place of tension or cognition. You might feel some shrinking or tightening. And if you're overthinking this particular exercise I'll do with you in a minute, this is a habit of yours to be in your mind. So we're actually trying to get into our body right now to make this decision. Your first step is actually going to start to feel into your body to get to know its signals. So let's do a quick practice now to feel into your body. I want you just to slow down your attention and just focus on your breath. Notice in your belly just how it rises and falls. Now I'm going to give you 2 options and I want you to decide which you like, and you're going to be deciding that through some kind of signal in your body. Here are the 2 options. Yellow book, blue book. Don't think about it, just feel into it. Did you feel any signals in your body? I want you to practice this exercise with just two items, 2 photos, a photo of a beach and a photo of a forest. And what you're practicing doing is you're practicing dropping into your body and listening to its signals. You will be drawn to one more than the other. It will make you feel expansive, more peaceful in your body. And then you act on that signal, right? You're starting to learn that, yes, I feel this, I'm going to move towards this. And we actually had this capacity when we were very young as children. We didn't have too many cognitive processes that would get us to second guess ourselves or gaslight ourselves. So we're actually trying to get back to these basics. The other thing that gets in the way of us really listening to our body and starting self-trust is the trauma that's stuck in our body, right? That the stuff that makes us feel contracted. And often when I start working with clients, they're in such a chronically contracted state that they don't know what expansive feels like. So if that's you and you got no body signals from that yellow blue book exercise, I would really encourage you to start experiencing things that allow you to start having some expansion in the body. Something pleasant. Eat your favorite food. Go on a walk and find your favorite flower or tree, or whatever it is. Have experiences in your body that are just, wow, that just bring you that sense of expansion, so that you can then start to notice the difference between your expansion and your contraction if you're chronically contracted. And then, of course, we need to clear out more of that trauma, because if that trauma is in there, it's kind of getting in the way of you having the difference between contraction and expansion. And clearing this trauma out is actually going to allow your self-respecting behaviors or self-loving emotions toward yourself and the self-beliefs that the rest of self-worth is actually going to start writing itself if you start acting from a place of self-trust and listening to the body, right? Because you've actually gotten to the core of what's creating the lack of self-worth in the first place, right? You're not trying to do this from the top down and kind of almost gaslight yourself by changing your beliefs about yourself. You know that it doesn't feel right. It's because the trauma that's causing it is trapped in the body. So if you need help doing this, this is obviously all the work that I do inside my program. We go into a lot more depth around these exercises. I have a whole set of them. Firstly, what your next step is to do is to book a call with me in my calendar below. We need to speak and see if we're fit to work together, and then we'll go on from there. All right. Now, in the meantime, here are some next step videos for you to watch so you can move one step closer to having a beautiful, healthy relationship with yourself, full of self-worth, and also letting that reflect in your outer world as well. And for now, I will see you in the next video.